Hey there, welcome to the Focus Podcast with Tara Lee. This is the place where we talk about real life, real relationships, and how to grow through it all. If you're looking for simple mindset shifts, better communication, and deeper connections, you're in the right spot. Let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Focus Podcast. I'm Tara Lee, and today's episode is for a very specific person. It's for the person whose spouse has maybe already left. It's for the person who is separated, for the person who has heard the words, "I don't know if I want to be married anymore." If that's you, I want you to hear this first. You don't have to decide anything today. You don't have to decide if your marriage is over. You don't have to decide if you should fight or let go. You don't have to decide what the future looks like. Today is not about making decisions. Today is about helping your brain slow down so your heart can breathe again. Because when a marriage feels like it's breaking, your brain does something very powerful. It turns fear into certainty, and that can be incredibly dangerous. There's a moment that many people reach in a marriage that feels unbearable. It's the moment your spouse says, "I don't know if I want this anymore." It's the moment they move out. It's the moment communication stops. It's the moment you realize this might not be fixable. And when that moment hits, something happens inside your body. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your thoughts start racing, your brain immediately jumps to the ending. It's over. I failed. There's no hope. Nothing I do will matter. And suddenly, you're not just dealing with a painful situation, you're standing in what feels like the final chapter of your life. But here's what I want you to understand. That ending was written by fear, not by truth. Let's talk about the difference between facts and stories. Now, I talk about this often. The fact is what actually happened. For example, your spouse moved out or you moved out. They asked for space. They said they're unsure about the marriage. Communication has slowed down or completely stopped. Those are the facts. The story is what your brain makes those facts mean. The story sounds like, "This marriage is over. I've lost everything. I wasn't enough. There's no point in trying." So, same situation, but two very different emotional experiences. The fact creates sadness, and the story creates hopelessness. And hopelessness shuts down your ability to think clearly. Your brain is not broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your brain is wired for survival. And so when something threatens your emotional safety, your brain tries to protect you by preparing for the worst. It says, brace yourself, expect disappointment, don't get your hopes up. Get ready to be hurt. But this is not weakness, it's biology. But in a marriage crisis, this protective instinct becomes destructive. Because fear does not bring clarity. Fear brings conclusions. And most people make permanent decisions while drowning in temporary pain. When you're in crisis, everything feels urgent. You feel pressure to decide. Should I fight? Should I let go? Should I protect myself? Should I walk away? But clarity does not come from panic. It comes from stillness. Before you decide whether your marriage can be saved, you need to separate what is true from what is terrifying. This is the sentence that I teach my clients in crisis, and you can say it with me. The fact is blank, and the story I'm telling is. For example, the fact is my spouse moved out, but the story I'm telling is this marriage is over forever. The fact is they said they don't know what they want. The story I'm telling is I'm unlovable and I failed. When you separate them, something powerful happens. You create space, and space gives you choice. Choice to breathe, choice to slow down, choice to stay present, choice to stop collapsing into fear. And this doesn't mean pretending that everything's okay. It means refusing to let panic decide your future. I've been married for 27 years, and we didn't get here by avoiding hard seasons. We got here by learning how to pause when fear wanted to take over. There were moments in our marriage when things felt uncertain and when emotions ran high, when it would have been easy to tell myself stories like, this shouldn't be this hard, or something must be wrong. Maybe this isn't working. But what I learned is this: a peaceful marriage isn't perfect. It's practiced. It's built when two people stop reacting from fear and start choosing clarity. Over time, my husband became my safest place, my very best friend, the person I genuinely enjoy being with. And not because life was easy, but because we learned how to slow down and stop letting fear be the narrator of our relationship. And if you're listening right now and thinking, this sounds impossible for me, I want you to know it didn't start that way for us either. It started with small moments of choosing clarity over panic. Here's what this looks like in real life. The fact is, your spouse asked for space. The story, they don't love me anymore. The fact is, they moved out. The story, the marriage is over. The fact is, they said they're unsure. The story, I failed and there is no hope. And when you believe the story, your body collapses. You stop sleeping, you stop eating, you stop trusting yourself. You stop believing in the future. But when you stay with the fact, something shifts. You feel sadness, but not despair. You feel grief, but not finality. And this is where healing can begin. Before you decide your marriage is over, ask yourself 3 questions. What do I know for sure? What am I assuming? And what else could be true? Because most stories are not lies, but they're incomplete. And when you treat them like facts, you collapse into despair. And you don't need to decide your future today. What you need is to stabilize your heart first. If your marriage feels like it's falling apart, it doesn't mean that it's doomed. It means you're in pain, and pain deserves compassion, not conclusions. You don't need to know the ending yet. You just need to stand steady in the middle of the storm. This is the work I do inside my Marriage Breakthrough and my Marriage Recovery and Emotional Reset programs. I help people who feel like everything is breaking slow down, breathe again, and rebuild from clarity instead of fear. And not by forcing outcomes, not by pretending that everything's okay, but by helping them think clearly when everything else feels chaotic. If your marriage feels like it's slipping through your fingers, you don't need to decide today if it's over. What you need is help slowing your thoughts and steadying your heart. And if this episode spoke to you, I invite you to book a call with me. We'll talk about what's happening in your marriage and what support would help you most right now. You are not broken, your marriage is not defined by this moment, and you don't have to walk through this alone. Thank you for being here with me today. Next week, we're going to build on this and talk about what it really means to own your thoughts when everything feels out of control. So until then, be gentle with yourself. You don't need answers yet. You just need clarity. And I will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Focus Podcast. If something stood out or helped you in some way, feel free to share it or leave a quick review. It means a lot. Keep showing up, keep growing, and I'll catch you in the next episode.